This show features adults using adult language. You have been warned.
I like puppies and rainbows and dead enemies.
If I'd known she was that hardcore, we could have been friends ages ago. Wake up, Joe. Joey.
Sorry, I mic'd myself. Or muted myself.
You mic'd yourself.
I mic'd myself right
How
in
do
the
you
head.
mic yourself?
Right in the head. Apply directly to the forehead.
This is HammerCast, episode 25, bringing you your weekly news and discussion about the world of games, smashing buttons, clicking mice, shuffling cards, and rolling dice. Today is Wednesday, September 9th, 2015. I'm your host, Dwayne Sibley. Joining me today on the show are two of our YouTuber hammers. Heather Berlekamp is the face and voice behind the Jinui channel on YouTube, where she publishes Let's Play videos in a variety of games and creates guides for niche topics like World of Warcraft's Battle Pet system. Welcome to the show, Heather.
Hi, Dwayne. Glad to be here.
And better known as Line Freeze on YouTube and elsewhere, Joe Maiolo is an avid Let's Player, playing through games such as Portal 2, Borderlands, and the Assassin's Creed series, frequently in the company of his lovely wife, Calisandra. Welcome to HammerCast, Joe.
Konnichiwa.
So we normally lead off the show by talking about what we've been playing lately. So, Heather, what have you been playing?
I have game ADHD. Let me just come out and say that right now.
Is that game DHD?
Yeah, game DHD.
Got it.
Or in my current case, ADOD, which is attention deficit. Ooh, dinosaur.
Right. I feel Ark coming on.
So yeah, the game that I most recently have been addicted to is Ark Survival Evolved, which is currently in early access on Steam. It's like $30 right now. The developers have been really keeping on it and updating it so often that I think you've gotten annoyed with having to update the server so frequently. It's
gotten a little bit better recently, but yeah, there was a time there where I think I updated the server 5 times in 6 days, which was a little much.
Wow.
Yeah, they specifically stated that they're slowing down the updates as it gets closer to release, and there hasn't been an update in about a week now, I think, so that's kind of nice for me because it gives me a chance to catch up with my videos. Anyway, I've been playing Ark a lot lately. Diablo 3, I played a character to level 70 for season 4, and then I got him to like Paragon level 80 something and kind of drifted away from it a little bit.
Wow. So you made it in time for the Heroes of the Storm cross promotion, right? You got your Malthael's mount?
Yes, I did, which is funny because I play characters in Heroes of the Storm that don't usually use a mount, like Brightwing and Abathur. So
well, at least you have it in your garage.
Exactly. When I'm doing my daily quests, I'm like, I should switch this person's mount because I can.
What else have you been playing?
I've been playing a lot of Rocket League. My husband discovered it, and we have been playing the crap out of it. I've actually uploaded a video recently where I play with a British friend, Bane Cat, also known as Sam.
Mm-hmm.
And he's completely new to the game, and I kind of introduced him to it. He didn't even play the tutorial, and he was pretty good. But it's pretty much soccer with cars, RC cars, and a giant soccer ball, and in a dome where you can like drive on the roof and the walls.
Right.
Which is really hard to do.
We've covered Rocket League on previous episodes, but it's a lot of fun, a ridiculous amount of fun for how simple it is.
And the last thing that I've been doing is this past weekend we started a D&D 5e campaign. So
how's that going?
We didn't die.
That's good. That's a good start.
It was kind of scary. I'm playing a wizard. My husband's playing a cleric, and we've got a rogue and a half-orc fighter. And our DM is creating the world from scratch. So it's going to be very interesting to see where that goes. So far, we have beaten all of the challenges pretty handily. The cleric has had to heal us a couple times, but we're doing pretty good.
He'd be awfully bored if he hasn't.
Right, that's true. I've been trying to play my wizard kind of like a Sherlock Holmes-ish kind of character, but it's a little difficult when both the cleric and the fighter are all about like simple solutions and smashing face. So
right.
Why use a scalpel when you can use a sledgehammer?
Exactly. So it's interesting.
Joe, what have you been playing?
I've been playing mostly Heroes of the Storm. A lot of hammers play it. We tend to play every few days, doing daily quests and whatnot. And then that led into picking Diablo 3 back up for season 4. As you know, they ran the promotion to get the mount if you got a seasonal character to level 70, which I did, and the amount is pretty cool, especially for certain heroes like Sylvanas, which I play a lot, or Illidan, and it kind of really goes well with it. I've also been playing, a few weeks ago, I went through a phase where I was playing hacking games. It's like hacking simulations. So Uplink is one of them, and Hacknet.
Man. Uplink is so old and so good.
It is good. I like it's more procedural. It's more of a simulation than the other, but Hacknet I like as well because it does have some story to it, although it is an indie game, so the developer is very much in tune with the community, and there are some bugs with it that he continually works on.
I just looked it up. Introversion made Uplink in 2001. That game is nearly 15 years old.
And it holds up. I mean, the tech is old, but it's a lot of fun. And I grew up with that, so it feels like memory lane. There's a few games that I've installed and have a desire to play, but haven't yet. One of them is Republic Remastered.
Oh, that was great. I backed Republic on Kickstarter, and I am very happy with what resulted.
Okay, I haven't played it yet, but I watched the trailer. I was like, I have to play this game. So that's on my plate. And then I have a few games that my wife and I picked up recently. One is Thunderstone Advanced, and the other is Takenoko.
Okay, I know Takenoko from Tabletop on Geek and Sundry, but I am not familiar with Thunderstone Advanced.
Okay, so Takenoko, that's where my wife found it, and she decided that she liked it enough that she wanted to get it. The Thunderstone Advanced, I don't know if you've ever heard of a game called Dominion.
Yes.
Okay, it's a deck building game. So Thunderstone Advanced is like Dominion if you semi-play on a team with your other players.
Okay.
You still, at the end of the game, you still have to, you still measure up victory points amongst each other, but you're playing against basically a dungeon. It's a lot of fun, and I can't wait to actually. I've cracked it open with my sister, and we cracked it open too late to actually play, but we sorted all the cards and everything, so it's ready to go now.
Right. So you've effectively staged the game. Now you're just waiting for a group to play it with.
Exactly.
That sounds exactly like Arcadia Quest. And if you like Thunderstone Advanced, you should probably take a look at that.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay. Let's see. I've been playing a lot of Rocket League, particularly this week. We've had Todd has actually been over at my place a couple times in the last week, and when he's come to hang out, we've been playing a lot of Rocket League. I've also been playing Diablo 3 for the very same reasons the rest of you were. I was trying to get the Malthael mount in Heroes of the Storm, and I did it on the very last day, so I was pretty happy about that.
Very nice.
I've picked up, as I said I would in the last show, when Joe indicated to me, Joe Hollis indicated to me that Metal Gear Solid 5 was getting great reviews, and I happened to have a gift certificate for Best Buy. I went out and grabbed Metal Gear Solid 5 for a whopping $10, which is awesome.
Nice.
I've played about 6 or 7 hours of it. The intro was a complete and total mindfuck.
So I heard.
Todd and I were sitting here going, wait, what? Huh? No. Why? What?
No,
that was us for the first hour and a half of the game.
Now, do you have to have played any of the other Metal Gear Solid games for that effect?
No.
Okay.
No, not for that effect. I'll tell you right now, as someone who's played Metal Gear Solid, Solid 2, Solid 3, Solid 4, I skipped Peace Walker, but anyway, I have a fairly well-grounded background in Metal Gear storyline and lore, and I still what the fucked my way through that intro sequence. It's just every time I think Kojima can't possibly get weirder than he did last time, and every time I realize, nope, I'm wrong. He's just wow.
Keeps up in his game.
Yeah, the man's reservoir of what the fuckitude is bottomless.
That should be a new metric.
Fuckitude. Yes.
Every game review should include that now.
The what the fuckitude meter.
Exactly. Let's just say Mr. Kojima's what the fuckitude is strong. I have also been playing Destiny. The Destiny 2.0 patch that prepares for the Taken King expansion dropped yesterday. It was a hefty 18 gigabytes on PlayStation 4.
I saw you downloading that.
Yeah,
I saw you talking about it.
Yeah, I was talking about it in Discord the other day, but there's a reason for that. There's a lot of changes. They're not just adding on a bunch of content. They're also going back and replacing existing content and existing systems.
They did something with the leveling system, right?
Yeah, the leveling system has completely changed. The bounty and questing system has been completely overhauled. The way stats work is different. They ripped out Peter Dinklage's much maligned dialogue and replaced it with Nolan North performing as the Ghost, which I'm still not quite sold on. I think he's kind of brought a more C-3PO vibe to the role, which I didn't quite want. Because
you said that you thought that Dinklage had actually phoned it in. Do you?
Now that I've heard Nolan North and his take on the performance, I'm starting to wonder if it was just the script and the direction. Because, if you take it in isolation, if you take the Ghost's lines throughout the game in isolation, he's not a very well-written character. It's just a whole bunch of one-liners while you're running around shooting aliens. And, there have been great performances in that role before. Look at Cortana. She's a fount of excellent one-liners and conversation while you're running around shooting aliens. So this can be done well. Bungie themselves did it really well. But I think there's something more fundamentally wrong with the Ghost's role that bringing an experienced voice actor to the table couldn't really fix, which is upsetting. But the rest of the systems that changed with Destiny were a lot of fun. I went and I shot a bunch of stuff and did some PvP, did some PvE last night. And I think the game has been refreshed enough that it's got enough legs to last for another year, which is great because, I kind of drifted away from Destiny and was wondering if they were going to be able to keep people attracted to it over time. But that's pretty much everything I've been playing. You guys want to go ahead and do the news?
Sure.
So long ago, we'll go ahead and jump into a little bit of follow-up. Long ago, we covered that the BBC was doing a docudrama based on the making of Grand Theft Auto, with Harry Potter's Daniel Radcliffe playing the founder of the Rockstar studio, Sam Houser, and also Bill Paxton playing much maligned attorney Jack Thompson. He's been disbarred permanently back in 2008. Awesomely. But we were Todd and Joe and I were talking about this quite a few episodes ago, but now we actually have our first trailer, and this looks like BBC has been taking their story very seriously, or at least it looks like it's going to play really well. Did you guys get a chance to look at this trailer?
I did, and me being the Harry Potter nut that I am, I saw Dan Radcliffe and I was like, ooh. And then I watched the trailer and I'm like, okay. Because, Grand Theft Auto, the whole series, is a huge part of the reason why video games as a whole, as a culture, as just a general standpoint are being quoted as, raising violence in teens or whatnot. And they could do really well if I just hope they do the movie well. That's all. I don't even care that it's Dan Radcliffe anymore. I'm just like, and he looks really weird with a beard. I'll just say that.
Like, where's the scar? Where are the glasses?
Well, he has sunglasses in the little thumbnail for the trailer, so I was like, oh, okay, well,
Joe, did you get a chance to look at this?
I did. Seeing the name Jack Thompson brings back all the craziness that he put us through. But yeah, it seems like it seems very serious. The I mean, the content could be. It's so different from the way they're taking it. So maybe that will help in how they're presenting it. It seems like it could be really good. It's going to be aired on the BBC,
Right.
just like as a regular, just like a TV movie then.
Yeah, kind of like a mini series of sorts. I don't know what BBC Two plans to do as far as splitting it into episodes or just airing it all at once, but hopefully it will come across the pond in some way, shape, or form.
Right, and that's what I'm hoping as well. And when it does, I mean, depending on the vehicle that they use for it, I'll probably watch it as long as it's not. I mean, I can't really see myself paying money to watch it, but definitely would be something I would watch.
Yeah,
just to
same.
find out how it goes.
And so we go from a movie about the creation of a video game to a movie about a video game. We've been talking about a lot of these lately, what with films about Borderlands being in the hopper and other franchises. But now we have word that 20th Century Fox is working on a Mega Man movie. I have no idea how they plan to make a faithful reproduction of the 1987 classic, but it could be cool. We have no indication about whether it's going to be animated, computer graphics, or live action, although without any evidence that they're working on a on an animated flick a la Pixar or DreamWorks or what have you, then it's probably going to end up being live action, which kind of makes me wince. What do you guys think about there being a Mega Man film?
Go ahead, Joe.
I grew up with Mega Man. It's not my favorite series of all time, but it's definitely in the top 4. I played 1 through 6 and X through X3. So I've played a lot of them, not all, but it's a great series. I love it to death. I mean, it's the same formula. So the story is, I'm not sure where they can really go with it. I mean, there is story there, especially depending on which version you take, but I'm so looking forward to it. I know that several years ago, there was on YouTube a live action fan-made, like 25-minute movie that they did and they put out there, and I searched for a link to it, but I couldn't find it. But it was pretty well done for just being a fan movie. So I'm seeing someone try a live action version. I am not scared of what they're going to come up with. I'm just a little worried about what kind of a story they're going to put with it.
Yeah.
I feel kind of the same way. I didn't play Mega Man nearly as much, like at all. I know what Mega Man is. I've seen it. I have played it, and I played it a little bit as a kid. It reminded me of Astro Boy, which I think they made a movie of really well. I don't think this is the same producers or anything at all related between the two, but it reminded me of that. And like Joe said, if they can figure out a story for it or how they're going to go with it, I think it will definitely be worth a watch. I'm always for watching game to movie adaptations when it's a character that I even remotely know of.
Okay. Well, we can all sit back, cross our fingers. Who knows? This project may even get stuck in development hell and nothing will ever come of it. But we'll keep our ears to the ground and find out if there actually will be a Mega Man film. Back to talking about Metal Gear. I've been playing a whole ton of it this week, and Konami has warned that there is a save corrupting bug in Metal Gear Solid 5 that can be triggered by bringing sidekick Quiet, the female sniper who's been discussed quite a bit in the gaming media as being problematically designed, and if you bring her along on either mission 29 or mission 42, it can trigger save file corruption and you will not be able to resume your game from your active save file. Konami's currently working on a way to patch it out, but until then, just, if you've got Metal Gear 5, The Phantom Pain, and you've got Quiet, don't bring her along on missions 29 or 42. I know neither of you guys are playing Metal Gear, but I just wanted to mention that both because it's of interest to me and also as a service announcement to our listeners. If you have Metal Gear Solid 5, don't do this.
PSA.
You will regret it.
Now,
Play the more you know.
now where you were saying about Quiet having problems, would anybody really be using her anyway?
Well, it's not that she has. It's not that she has technical problems. She does. It's not that she's a buggy character or improperly implemented.
Okay.
I'm referring more to her. Let's call it rather juvenile character design.
She's not bad. She's just drawn that way.
Yeah. Well, okay. Her character design is one thing. Her character design is, admittedly a little one-sided. She's purposefully designed for the male gaze, but also the in-game camera kind of lingers in places where it really doesn't need to. It's definitely pandering to a certain type of player or viewer, and it's 2015. We worked through these things in the 90s. Do we still have to be doing them now?
Little unnecessary TNA there.
Yeah. That's basically what I'm getting at. I mean, the story is good, and her as a character is pretty good, but it's just, okay, we don't need to, every time the camera sweeps across her, we don't need to linger on her breasts. Seriously.
But Kojima seems to think so.
Yeah.
I found it, and I know it's a serious issue. I mean, with the game, it is corrupting a save. I mean, especially you said 42 is the second mission.
Yes, 29
How
and
many
42.
missions are there?
Quite a bit. I don't have the full number, but
Okay.
I mean, you have to think that 42 is decently out there.
Well, also, as I discovered this weekend while playing through the game, you don't necessarily work through the missions in order. Some of them are storyline missions, and some of them are side missions that you can do to build up your private army or acquire special personnel for your base or get the blueprint for a special weapon you otherwise would not be able to develop. And those side missions can be played out of order. So the reason I actually give the mission numbers is so that if these pop up on your side ops list or on your mission list and you see them, just kind of work around them until Konami can fix this glitch, and
or
you can
don't bring Quiet.
Or just or run them and don't bring Quiet. The game has this concept of a buddy that you can bring along. At the beginning of the game, your buddy is your horse, which is just a vehicle for getting around the deserts of Afghanistan. You can also adopt a dog. And when the dog grows up, it can join you in battle, and it will sniff out certain things for you that you otherwise would have to get much closer to detect on your own. Nice. And also, once you encounter and, make acquaintances with Quiet, I don't want to spoil how this happens, but once you manage to encounter Quiet, you may be able to bring her on board with your forces. And if you do so, you can deploy her as your buddy on certain missions.
So can you only have one buddy with you at a time?
You can only have one buddy with you on a deployment at a time. So, anywho, that's enough on Metal Gear. I just wanted to make sure that those of you out there who are playing the game and are listening don't get bit by this rather pernicious bug. We've got a little Fallout 4 news this week. The first, and most interesting to me at least, is the fact that Fallout 4 is going to have 111,000 lines of dialogue. And Bethesda says this is more dialogue than Fallout 3 and Skyrim combined. Guys, what the hell?
That's a lot of dialogue.
That's a lot of dialogue. Because Skyrim, I mean...
Yeah, Skyrim's a lot of dialogue. I mean, most of it is talking about getting an arrow in the knee, but...
Oh, God. And sweet rolls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I had to look up a number, and according to the Guinness World Records of 2012, Star Wars The Old Republic has still got that beat with 200,000 lines of dialogue voiced.
I believe it.
By more than 200 actors.
Yep.
So compared to that, I have played Old Republic, and it was really fun. The dialogue was amazing. So if that much dialogue is even anything close to what Old Republic did over versus what Skyrim did with the, a lot of repetitive lines and one-liners.
Mm-hmm.
I am very much looking forward to listening to the story of Fallout 4 instead of just clicking through and reading it like I usually do.
Yeah.
Right. Also, the game was going to have a $30 season pass that will let you gain automatic access to any DLC released for the game in the future. This is about a similar range to what we saw for Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. And these season passes tend to give you a discount when all is said and done once they've released all of the DLC, over buying it separately, I should say. So, for instance, if you pay for a $30 season pass and there are 3 DLCs and they cost $15 each on their own, you've gone ahead and saved the cost of an entire DLC package by purchasing the season pass. A lot of people are down on this kind of thing just because it involves you giving the publishers money they technically haven't earned yet for things they have not announced to you, so that you don't really know what it is you're paying for, but you're resting assured that you've saved money on whatever it is you end up getting. How do you guys feel about season passes, and are you likely to get one for Fallout 4? Joe?
I'm for season passes for games that I really love. I did it for Watch Dogs. I didn't do it for Fallout 3 because I was kind of late to the Fallout 3 party, but I've done it for other games as well, but only for games that I really, really like. When I stop to think about it from a money standpoint, you're almost paying half again the price of the game
Right.
for these DLCs. So in my mind, I mean, if it has to be something that you really, really enjoy, the game itself. So it can be risky if you're trying a new IP.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Watch Dogs
Fallout's anything from new.
Right. So I mean, if you love Fallout, you know you're going to get it. They've pretty much already got your money. But if you haven't before and you're not, I mean, usually they give you some time to get the season pass before they take it away. So sometimes you can play the game and be like, oh man, I really love this, and then go ahead and get on the season pass.
Right. I think I did that with BioShock Infinite. I finished the core game and then went back and bought the season pass because I was like, oh my God, that was awesome. Heather, how do you feel about season passes?
So the only game that I have really played at all that had a season pass was Titanfall with Origin. And I didn't get it. My husband did. But that was just because I didn't get quite on that bandwagon as hard. Now, what I'm thinking is if the season pass existed long enough for me to see what the first DLC is, then, and I enjoy the game that much that I'm still sticking with it, then I would probably get the season pass. I'm all about saving money. I just don't know about spending money back to back on the same
something
game
you don't know about yet.
Right. I haven't played any of the other Fallout games unless Fallout Shelter counts. I was kind of addicted to Fallout Shelter. I bought lunch boxes right out the gate. I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to be addicted to this game. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and drop $20 and never spend money on it again.
Right.
And so far, I have kept to that promise.
Well, let's put it this way. Have you played any of the Elder Scrolls games like Oblivion or Skyrim? Now, knowing the caliber of stuff that gets put into the Elder Scrolls, if Elder Scrolls 6 offered a season pass, would you pick it up?
Yes.
Okay.
I would, because I regret that I kind of faded. My ADD left Skyrim before the Dragonborn expansion. I played a little bit of the Hearth one. I forgot what it's called.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Hearthfire.
Right.
I played a little bit of Hearthfire, and did a little bit of stuff with that. But I haven't re-rolled a new character and played Skyrim all the way through in a long time, and I haven't played that most recent expansion. I did get the Dawn Guard.
Yeah, the one with the vampires?
Which was amazing.
Yeah, that was really good.
Loved that expansion. But yes, if I can understand people that already have fallen in love with the Fallout genre, just go, oh, yes, please, and just drop the extra money right away. I personally would wait, play a little bit, maybe see if the season pass will last long enough to see what the first DLC looks like, to see if I'll be interested in continuing to play. Right. And then if it did catch my interest, then I'd be like, yeah, I'll probably enjoy the rest too.
Yeah, I don't know how long Bethesda keeps their season passes around for. I know Gearbox makes them available pretty much in perpetuity. You can still go out and buy, well, now you can go out and buy the Borderlands Game of the Year editions that come with everything in the box. But up until when those came out, you could still buy the core game and then turn around and buy the season pass and get access to all the DLC that had already released. I do not know what Bethesda's history on keeping season passes alive is, but I took you down that Elder Scrolls road to point out to you that these are the same folks. That might have some value to you. So,
and I've heard that Fallout 4 is going to be a lot more open world, which I really enjoy. They've
been pretty open world for the last couple of iterations. Both New Vegas and Fallout 3, which took you through the DC wasteland, were very open, very large, and I mean, not nearly as big as Skyrim, but it was a great time. WildStar, which was yet another failed failed WoW killer, will be going free to play this September 29th. Now, a whole bunch of us gave WildStar a good old college try at launch last year, and I think we kind of drifted away inside of about 6 weeks or so. Would you guys be willing to give it another try now that you can do so with no financial obligation?
I plan on it.
Okay. I do as well.
I mean, ever since they announced they were going to free play, I was like, ooh, I definitely want to try that again.
I was like, oh, yay. And then I remember that my husband is on an opposite schedule from me and it won't be nearly as fun. But I'll allow you guys to play with.
Yeah, I mean, we've got the Discord server set up now, so you should be able to find people around, provided it's not like 3 a.m. Eastern time.
Which is when I'm usually awake.
Oh, goodness. Okay, we'll have to pair you off with Jan. Yeah, she's the other night owl.
Yeah.
Jan and Joe
Gertie.
Hollis and Gertie.
Yeah, I was like, I got up at 3 and they were still online, and I was like, wait, have you gone to bed yet? She was like, no, did you just wake up? Yeah.
Wow.
She was like, oh yeah, I thought I saw you go to bed at like 6 or 7 last night. I was like, yeah, I do. But yes, WildStar, I really, really loved my Orin. I just love the cutesy look of that character.
Me too.
And they're so freaking adorable. And I would love to like cosplay as one at some point. That would be so cute. And I love the cartoony look of it. That just enough that it's not like obnoxiously cute, and it just kind of stands out. And I liked what I played of it. And then my husband and I were both like, you know what? Because we tried the trial version, and we was like, you know what? We both already know that we enjoy this game. We need to stop so that we don't pay for it.
And now you don't have to.
I was like, hey, look, guess what?
All right. Well, I look forward to hopping back into that with whichever hammers decide to come with us, and we can give it another honest college try. Apple announced their new Apple TV today. For those not familiar, the Apple TV is a set-top box that plugs into your television and previously just allowed you to stream content such as TV shows and movies and music from your iTunes library to your television and play them over your home theater setup. People have been clamoring for Apple to turn this device into something more for quite some time, and it's pretty much been falling on deaf ears until now. The Apple TV has all of the same innards as the modern iPhones, and they're releasing a TV OS for the device with a complete developer SDK that lets you make apps for this device. So if you have an app on iOS, you could be able to port it to tvOS and run it on set-top boxes without much trouble. I bring this up during a gaming show because this clearly has gaming potential. Mobile gaming is huge. There's some really great, high-quality, I would dare say, AAA titles on iOS and Android. We've seen several Android-based consoles, like the Ouya we love to make fun of here on HammerCast. And now this brings the potential of those people who are invested in the iOS ecosystem to be able to take that investment and bring gaming to their home theater. That sounds kind of neat, don't you think?
Mobile gaming on a TV screen.
Yep.
I can just imagine how much of my Fallout Shelter vault I would be able to see on a 72-inch screen.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, just the ability to play. I mean, because my mom we got a few years ago, my sister and I got her a tablet, a Nook. And it's
the old Nook HD?
Yeah, and then we got her the new one. But it runs Android, so we introduced her to mobile games that way, because up until then she didn't have a smartphone. In fact, my sister didn't either. I don't like to talk about it.
Flubs.
Yeah. But once she got her Nook, she was exposed to games via Android. So there's a game that my sister introduced me to, and then we kind of introduced to my mother, was Cooking Fever.
Oh my God.
And I don't know if either of you have played it, but she mentioned to me that because my sister plays it on her iPhone, and my mom was watching her and she said, I can't believe you can play that on such a small screen. And this kind of jumps out of me. I was like, well, now she can play it on the TV. I mean, it doesn't get bigger than that.
Right.
Didn't you introduce your mother to Hearthstone? Wasn't she playing that on the mobile?
Not my mom.
Okay.
No, that was Todd.
Mom? Oh, Todd's mom. That's
Todd's
right.
mom
Okay.
was playing Hearthstone on her tablet.
That's right. Now she could just put it up on the TV.
Right? I mean, that would be pretty neat. So we'll have to keep our ears to the ground and see how the new Apple TV and tvOS develops, and see if the Android ecosystem answers this with some sort of set-top box that lets them stream or play games directly to TV. Because I think the thing that makes this really compelling, at least to me, Heather, you brought up the Fallout Shelter. What wouldn't it be? I know Apple has iCloud, which is their cloud data syncing service. So everything that runs on an Apple device can leverage iCloud as like a cloudy back end. So if I'm playing Fallout Shelter on my phone, and then I get to a certain point, and then I quit the app because I'm getting in the car or what have you, and then I come home and I fire up my Apple TV, it can go ahead and pull down my latest save from the cloud, and I can just pick up right where I left off. Mm-hmm. And that ability to be able to seamlessly go from tablet to phone to television and back again in whatever order you want is really compelling for a continuing gameplay experience. And I would love to see that be everywhere, not just in the Apple ecosystem, but that should be something everybody has access to if they so desire.
I don't know if that's specifically the example of Fallout Shelter. I don't know if that's a thing. I don't know if Fallout Shelter uses the iCloud data. I know that on my Android. It does on iOS. Okay, yeah, I was going to say, on my Android, it specifically says the save data is local. If you delete the game, you lose your data. And I have a separate vault on both my phone and my tablet. I just fiddled with the one on my tablet. I did the first few quests, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this again.
Yeah, on the iOS version, it uses iCloud for your saves, so I have the same vault on my tablet and my phone, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, I'm jealous. I watched that video in that link that you provided. If from what you were talking about, what the original Apple TV was, I don't even think you can call this one Apple TV. I mean, it is heads and shoulders. It's a different device.
Oh yeah, it's a completely different device.
They've
just kept it under the same brand.
Yeah, it just blows my mind how much more it is. I mean, it sounds like they waited a long time to do it, but man, they used their time well, because that thing is very impressive.
Yeah, I am strongly considering replacing my Chromecast with one of the new Apple TVs when they come out, but we'll see what happens. You guys were talking about Hearthstone.
Mm-hmm.
And playing it up on the big TV with an Apple TV. Well, a YouTuber has set up a Hearthstone turn with a friend, because, these awesome, ridiculously long turns never happen in a real game. But they set up a Hearthstone turn using Dreadsteeds and the gnomish knife guy. What's his name?
Knife Juggler.
The Knife Juggler, yes. They set up a turn that lasted over 10 minutes and nearly killed everyone on the board, both players included. We'll go ahead and toss that in the show notes. The show notes for this episode will be at hammergaming.com/hammercast/25 for episode 25. Did you guys get a chance to watch this? I know it was a 16-minute long video, so I don't expect you to watch the whole thing, but it was kind of hypnotic.
Yeah,
I did watch it. The craziness starts at like 2 minutes, 10 seconds, or somewhere right around there. They kind of cut out a little bit where they're getting it set up, but they like, the priest completely buffed the Knife Juggler to have like 56 health toughness, and then copied it with another creature.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Warlock played 2 of that creature, the copier, and copied the Knife Juggler twice.
Right.
So they both had 2 Knife Jugglers out with over 56 health, and their boards were full with the rest of Dreadsteeds.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. I watched about like 5 minutes of it. I was like, wow, it doesn't stop.
So the Reader's Digest version of this is that the Dreadsteed is a very small, cheap 1/1 creature that, when it dies, summons a new copy of itself.
And that's important, because it is summoned.
Yeah, it is summoned. So, and the Knife Juggler, every time you summon a new minion onto the board, it throws a knife that does 1 damage to a random entity on the opposite side of the board, so on your opponent's side of the board.
So it could be a creature, it could be the player. Right,
it could be anyone, as long as it's not on your team. Mm-hmm. So what would happen is these they summoned something, and both of the jugglers on one side would start throwing out knives, and then those knives would inevitably hit a couple of the Dreadsteeds, and then the Dreadsteeds would die, and then they'd reincarnate, because their death rattle is to bring in a new Dreadsteed. Mm-hmm. And because the Dreadsteeds coming back counts as summoning more minions, the Knife Jugglers on the other side started throwing knives. So this started this massive cascade reaction of just throwing knives, horses coming back to life, more throwing knives, more horses coming back to life. And at the end of this 16-minute video, nearly everyone but the jugglers are dead, including both players. It, like I said, it gets hypnotic after a while. It's got this great rhythm to it. I was just listening to it in the background going, yeah, this is...
Oh, it's still going.
This is nice.
It was amazing that every single time, at least 1 knife hit a Dreadsteed.
Right.
Because that was the only thing that would continue triggering it.
Yeah, the probability is pretty good. I mean, you only had three targets on the other side of the board that you could possibly hit that wouldn't trigger the Dreadsteed summon. So
right.
Anyway, moving on. We'll go ahead and link that for you in the show notes. Heroes of the Storm. Now, we're all a bunch of Heroes of the Storm players here, and myself and the other 2 regular hosts on HammerCast were never really big MOBA fans before Heroes of the Storm came out. And I think one of the reasons we all got into it after maligning MOBAs for so long was the community reputation for very toxic, childish behavior. Apparently that's starting to rear its ugly head even in Heroes of the Storm, as Blizzard is rolling out new reporting options to address complaints of toxic behavior. You'll now be able to give very fine-grained reasons as to why you're attempting to report a player who is breaking the rules or being harassing or disrespectful or threatening you, or any of the number of ways that people can be complete assholes to each other online. On one hand, I'm glad that they're doing this. They're giving their player base the tools to create that virtuous cycle of discipline. But I'm kind of sad it needs to be done at all. Heather, how do you feel about this?
I played League of Legends for all of 2 days. I played Dota for less than one. And I can understand where everyone's coming from with the incredibly toxic environment, and it's so hard to get into a game like that. Heroes of the Storm has started out so nice, and of course we're going to get trickle in from other MOBAs, just come see what the big hullabaloo is. And I'm really, really glad that they're implementing this. It just depends on how well people use it.
Right.
I mean, there's going to be people that abuse that system just to get other people banned for no apparent reason, a team of 5, or, it depends on how many flags, quote unquote, it takes for someone to get banned or silenced for whatever issue, and how thorough Blizzard is to actually looking into the complaints, which is going to be extremely difficult, I'm sure. But I'm glad that the option is there.
Joe?
I agree. I haven't had an occasion to do it very often. There's a few times where I have, and I went into the system, and there were the ones they had before this were kind of general. I mean, there were some specific ones, but the ones I was looking for, I was like, this is close enough. But now, reading the list, like, okay, the ones I was looking for, they're here now. So I think they've given us enough finer control over why we're reporting it. And I read that they're going to be reviewing them, obviously, because you can't just take people at their word on some of this. But the silence ban thing is pretty interesting. They remove not all of your abilities about communication, but I mean, everything basic to the game, you're still going to be able to ping, things like that. I think
you just won't be able to type.
Yeah, and I think one thing that helped keep most of the MOBA community, the toxicity away, is the fact that you can't talk to the other team.
Right.
There's no channel where you can speak to the other team. So the people you're reporting are the people on your own team.
Right. It's the people who abuse their teammates who are going to end up being at the receiving end of this discipline.
Right. And I mean, I've played games by myself where I've seen other people like, oh, you should go away and learn to play, or you should uninstall the game. And it's something I don't run into a lot because I do play with hammers. So playing with a team of 4, a prepackaged team of 4 or 5, you're not going to get that.
Right.
So I mean, it was bound to happen, and I'm glad we have the tools for it.
I remember you complaining, either you or some other hammer, specifically complaining that they need more specific reporting tools.
And now we're going to get them.
Ta-da!
Rocket League patch 1.05 is going to start the game's first official season. We don't have a release date on patch 105 just yet, but the first official season where we'll be able to keep records of how you've done and the teams you've played with will be starting when that patch drops. And also importantly, at least important for you, Heather, because you play on PC, it will allow PC users to filter out console players from their matchmaking queues. Right now, both PS4 and PC Rocket League players are in the same queues for the same games. So the driver next to you may be holding a controller instead of a keyboard and mouse. But in the future, PC users will be able to go, okay, I just want to play with PC users. I haven't played Rocket League on PC yet. I don't know who's doing it better. I mean, it's pretty damn good with a controller. What do you think about the PC and console user filter, Heather?
Okay, first off, are the PS4 users going to get an option to filter out the PC players?
Nope.
Well,
This is just, if it goes both ways, then Psyonix has not indicated as such.
okay.
But the only thing that's been explicitly stated is that PC users will be able to filter out console players from their matchmaking queues.
I don't know why, but that sounds so bigoted, conceited, something along those lines. I can't. I was first thinking of it like, oh well, that's interesting. That will help with PC users. If they're all using PCs, then they're all likely to experience the same amount of latency and or frame rate lag kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I can kind of understand it from that perspective. And that was my original first thought. But then I was like, wait a minute. They're not doing it the other way around, though, as well. And I'm kind of ambivalent about that feature now. I mean, everybody has been clamoring for so long about cross compatibility, and they're
Now
giving
that we have
PC users the options to negate that. It sounds like a superiority complex to me.
Well, there's an entire subreddit called PC Master Race where you can see that on display.
Well, yeah, I know. That's true.
Joe, do you have any thoughts on this? I know you're not a Rocket League player, but the concept of filtering at the very least.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't picked it up yet. I mean, nearly all the hammers play it, so it may just be a matter of time. But the filtering thing, it comes down to, we've always maligned, Sony and Microsoft and other studios for not getting along. And now that we have it, why would you turn that off? Why would you give the switch? I mean, I don't see an issue with what would you conceivably filter out console players? What reason would you have for it? I don't.
Yeah, I'm not entirely certain. I mean, I know the control modes are very different. I was talking with Todd about this a couple days ago, and he just finished serving as a enforcer at PAX Prime 2015 in Seattle a couple weeks ago. And as you could guess, Rocket League was huge there in the PC free play area. And he said it was about 50-50 among PC players, whether they were playing keyboard and mouse or with a USB controller plugged into their computer. So even the difference in control scheme kind of evens out. So I'm not sure what Psyonix's reason is behind this particular filter.
I'd be interested to find out, but I mean, from my perspective, it's like you guys said. I mean, we've been wanting cross-platform inclusive, being able to play with other people on consoles for so long, and they're the first to. I guess not the first to do it, but the first big game to do it. Now they're like, right. You don't have to if you don't want to.
Yeah, CCP did it with EVE Online and Dust 514, but those were two fundamentally different games that just happened to be connected to the same game universe. So things you did in one game could affect the other game, but it wasn't as though people were playing directly with each other and impacting their gameplay on a moment-to-moment basis. But anywho, we've got a leak, possibly. This is kicking off some interesting rumors. A now deleted LinkedIn profile from a former worker at Square Enix detailed a possible Kingdom Hearts 2.9. I have no idea what this could possibly be. And some details on Kingdom Hearts 3, including the return, or, well, not return, but the including the gummy ship. I don't know if you guys played the earlier Kingdom Hearts games, but I really enjoyed the gummy ship, which was your way of going from Disney World to Disney World. And it was kind of like a puzzle. You could put together different parts of the ship to, make it more effective, faster, more powerful, etc. But I have a weakness for spaceships that is well documented.
Yes.
Have either of you guys played any of the Kingdom Hearts games?
I own 1 and 2. And
It's been a long time.
I've played through most of 1.
All right. Well, we won't linger on this too much. Like I said, it's just some stuff from a now deleted LinkedIn page that has kicked off some rumors. Nothing has been confirmed by Square Enix. Unfortunately, Kingdom Hearts 3 will not be making an appearance at Tokyo Game Show next week, but Square Enix is said to be holding a secret event, and it is possible we may learn a little bit more about what we've heard when that occurs. And last up for today, we've got a theme park being planned by Ubisoft. The Canadian publisher is planning on opening a theme park in Malaysia based on their game IPs, things like Assassin's Creed, the Anno series, Rainbow Six, and others. So am I the only person who thinks that this theme park will be opened late, and then after it is opened, a whole bunch of the rides still won't work? Because this has been Ubisoft's MO lately.
I was reading the conversation that the rock paper shotgun people had on
Yeah.
I was just like laughing so hard. I
Yeah.
was like, yes, oh my god, yes, and this, yes.
Oh,
So
It's-
if such a thing were to happen and money was no object, would you go to an Ubisoft themed theme park?
no,
I probably would, just to see what they did with it,
no.
because
I'm
I like
surpri-
it when games come to life.
I'm very surprised to hear Joe say no. He is possibly the biggest Assassin's Creed fan I know, and the opportunity to run around in an Assassin's Creed themed world, I thought you'd be all over that, Joe.
No, I mean, you kind of get a little bit of this with Universal Studios with movies, and I've never been a fan of that. I mean, traditional theme parks, I'm a big fan of. I'm a big coaster fan. Roller coasters, love them. But theme parks like Universal, I mean, granted, Disney World, it kind of gets an exception, just because they're not. I don't know. Maybe it's because I haven't been there in a long time. But the idea, the thought that a park about video games just doesn't. No,
It just doesn't do it for you?
No, I have very, very low. I have no hopes for this. I hope it doesn't happen so they don't have to go through it. But I can't see this succeeding. I just can't.
Well, the upside is that it's in a place like Malaysia where they don't have to do it up to the same standards that, North American fans would demand.
Indeed.
It can be a little bit off-brand in Malaysia, and who would notice?
And no one would care.
Right? I mean, we'll see. I mean, just do a Google search for Chinese theme parks. There's a Chinese World of Warcraft ripoff theme park that it is ridiculously like knockoff, off-brand kind of quality of attractions there. But every time I see a photo of it, there's big crowds milling around, get in line for rides and such. So, maybe it can be a success there in a place like Malaysia that it just couldn't possibly do well here.
If I want to see World of Warcraft cosplay, I'll go to a wedding over there.
Oh, there you go.
My.
So many people, they go all out with crafting weapons and armor, and the bride and groom are usually like epic characters from World of Warcraft, and usually they look pretty freaking amazing.
So how far in advance of the wedding do you have to start farming the mats?
Oh, that's a really good question. I don't know. I guess it depends on how rare the materials are.
Yeah.
And if your day job is a gold farmer,
Right. And if you have the profession skills yourself.
All very important questions that hopefully we'll answer if we ever have to, make a cosplay wedding. But that will be it for this week. Joe, Heather, thank you very much for joining me. And thanks to everyone out there for tuning in. HammerGaming.com/HammerCast/25 is where you can find show notes for this episode. We're Hammer Gaming on Twitter. Follow us, and you can get updates on when new episodes are available, as well as other news from the Hammer Gaming community. Heather, where can folks find you online?
I am on YouTube. If you just search Gina Wee, you will find me. I don't have my own personal URL yet because I don't have 500 subscribers. And you can find me on Twitter at the Gina Wee, which is THE and then JINAWEE. And yeah.
All right. And Joe, where can folks find you online?
I am on YouTube at Line Freeze. Again, just like Joe, I don't have a handle as Dazik does, so you have to search for me. I'm also on Twitter at Line Freeze, but it's at LINEFREEZ3.
Okay. And I am on Twitter at Valthonis. That's VALTHONIS. Again, thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.